So, my top books. I don't have that many to show you actually, because unlike most people, even though I am a reader, once I get through a book, I kind of pass it on. I give it away, let somebody else read it, because what's the point of having it? I don't know. Okay, to my books. Motivational ones first. Once a Runner, which is a really amazing book about a runner, of course, and I used to be a runner myself, and I wanted to get back into the sport, and when I read this, I just had to get up and start running, and I just had a baby, so that's helpful. It's John L. Parker Jr. I remember in the late 90s, everyone was trying to get a hold of this book, and it was out of print. And after that, they printed like a million copies that sold in like a few days, something like that. So great book, even if you're not a runner. Another motivational type book is, this is kind of funny, Stephen King, Just After Sunset. Great book. The reason why is because it's been a while since I've read this book, and I'm going to look it up. There's one story called Stationary Bike, and it's about this guy who loses weight, and he does it in just a different sort of a way. It's all mental for him. And then there's a story about a woman who's a runner. There's a couple of stories where the people are trying to get healthier out of all the stories here. And it was, all the stories are pretty good except for the last one, A Very Tight Place. Once I started reading that, I wanted to throw up, and I don't have a weak stomach. I've always read Stephen King, Dean Koontz, which is a lot worse than Stephen King, and I wanted to puke, and I left it alone for I think a year, and then I wanted to read it just so I could say I read the whole book. Again, that's Stephen King, Just After Sunset. So those are my motivational type. Oh, okay, one more. Brain training for the runner. I used to be a runner. I did like 5Ks and mini marathons and stuff, and I think that if I would have read something like this, and I don't think it has to be this book, I could have won. And people who had won those contests had won quite a bit of money. One guy I talked to who got on second place in the Boston Marathon and a couple other marathons. That's how he made his living, and he made about $100 a year. Not bad for doing something you love. There's Edgar Allan Poe. I don't think I really have to explain. It's classic. It's good. I love it. It's amazing how many poems and short stories he's done. Really great. I love it. There's my all-time favorite book, or I guess I should say second, Maeve, Binchy, The Glass Lake. And this is, so I got in a position, this is the first book I've ever read. I've never been interested. I've tried Stephen King and everything else. Even the short stories were hard for me to read through, but this is the first book I've ever read, and it's over 800 pages. And what happened was I got stuck in this place, and there was this book here. Not this one, I reordered this one because I wanted to reread it. It's been over 10 years since I've read it, so I figured I probably forgot most of it, and it would be fun to reread it. But as soon as you start reading it, there's like one twist after another, but it's not too complicating to keep up. I hate those books where there's 1,000 characters and they kind of expect you to remember everything. I can't think of any book like that off the top of my head. There's a few that I've started to read and I just gave up. But Maeve, Binchy, The Glass Lake, it's so good. I know women authors, I don't especially love women authors. I just started reading, I've been trying to read Heather Graham, and because everybody says she's so amazing, and I just cannot get into it. It's so unrealistic. What she said, what she has the men do and say, and I don't know. Stephen King I've just read Under the Dome and a few other of his recent books, and they're so unrelatable. It's pathetic. But this is very relatable, and There's a lot of twists and turns. I think if you like Stephen King, Dean Koontz, you would like this book, even though it looks kind of like a romantic type book. It looks very, I don't know, it doesn't look like something that's very suspenseful, but it is, and it's very, it really gets you going. It's a page turner. Never read a book before. I started reading this and I was done in a month, even though at the time I was working 6 days a week, 10, 15-hour days, some days. And so I would stay up all night reading this. And I saw this online for $1, and pretty cool. Best book I've read. Okay. Another book that I don't have, most of the books I don't have, because I give them away. Like The Chosen One, that was one of my favorites. Watership Down, that was a really great one. Most of John Grisham, most of Dean Koontz, Cold Fire, Twilight Eyes, those two are my favorite. All of them are really great. All of the Stephen King earlier ones, almost all of them. The recent ones have been really, really, really horrible. But like this one surprised me. There are a few good. It's not normal Stephen King. It's not Carrie. It's not The Stand. It's not, you know, his best, but it's good and it's kind of motivating. So there's my book list. There's part of it anyways, and I'll have to do another part 2.